welcome to Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Petham, and today I'm joined by Alexander Mishkovich, President and CEO of Terra Balcanica Resources. Alex, it's great to meet you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me on.
So let's get right into it. You've released some fantastic drill results from your 2023 campaign. Can you tell us about the grades that you're seeing?
Yes. Again, very pleased to release yet another one in the series of drill results from our target called Chumavici. It's one of the three targets within our flagship project, Via Gorzanic. Chumavici is a high-grade, intermediate sulfidation, main-hosted tabular ore body that we have now intercepted over 150 meters along strike and some 200 meters down dip. These grades are more or less on average with what we have released before, about 500 to 550 grams per ton silver equivalent. This is a polymetallic system. Silver is the dominant metal, but we are expressing everything in the context of silver equivalence. Very high grade, close to surface system, and we have more news releases to issue. We are confident that this is just the very beginning of what is going to prove to be a new discovery in Eastern Bosnia.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you really have some impressive grades there, and obviously having them at surface is a huge advantage. But can you tell us, how do these results advance your understanding of the geological system on the property?
Right. So Chumavici is actually I like to call it a corridor. So it's a 7.2 kilometer long, northwest, southeast trending system. For those geologically or geophysically inclined, dominated by a low magnetic response and the pathfinder elements. Initially, this is how we found it, that were characteristic of intermediate sulfidation deposits. Then, of course, we've done all the proper due diligence, mapping, superficial sampling, soil sampling, and established that not only is there one target zone, but there are five. And that's a key thing to highlight, I think, for all those watching us, is the fact that current results, and those ones, about 80% of those we have released so far, only come from what's called Chumavici Ridge. Now, Chumavici Ridge is only one of five targets we have defined. The other ones being, for example, Yosheva, Chumurnica, Kazani, Seoce. And all of those ones feature high-grade, silver-dominated epithermal mineralization that is manifested on surface. You can put your boot on the ground and see it come to the surface. In other words, it daylights. But Chumavici Ridge obviously is the one that received most of our attention so far. And again, as I mentioned, over 120, 150 meters along strike, we have now done what's called 3 drill fences oriented northeast, southwest along this northwest, southeast strike. Again, intercepting it very shallow, sometimes as shallow as 8 meters below surface, sometimes deeper. But for the most part, this is a fairly simple tabular body dipping at a 45-degree angle to the southwest. And at this point, we have really de-risked it from the standpoint of understanding the geometry of the body. It's a matter of just trucking along the strike length and adding, again, those tons, adding additional equivalents to what we've established so far, and then moving on to the next target, and hopefully then reaching a critical level that would turn this into a mineable deposit.
Let's talk a little about the region. So you're operating in Bosnia and Herzegovina, which isn't a particularly well-known mining jurisdiction. Can you tell us what it's like to operate there?
Right. So we are actually a multi-jurisdictional explorer in addition to the flagship project in Bosnia called Via Gorzanic, of which Chumavici system is only one target, or one license, I should say. We also have licenses in Serbia, the neighboring country. We have 2 licenses there. So overall land position is about 150 kilometers squared in Serbia and about 215 square kilometers in Bosnia. These are both mining-friendly jurisdictions. Both are European member candidate states. There's millennia of mining history in both of these regions. The region in Bosnia that we currently explore was mined as far back as by the Romans, so 2,000 years ago. Obviously, the advancement of modern technology really comes on with the former Yugoslavia in the last 40, 50 years. And the important thing to note is that our project in Bosnia is centered upon an existing mine. So an entity out of United Kingdom, UK company called Mineco Ltd, operates a mine in eastern Bosnia called Sase, and we have effectively surrounded that operating mine with our exploration licenses. So that's another strategically advantageous position of Terra's. Worth noting is the fact that the ore deposit style mined in the Sase mine, in our neighboring mine, is exactly the same type as the one we intercepted at Čumavići. So again, that's also nice to note. As they slowly are depleting their resources, we are hopefully building ours. Bosnia is a very good place to work. Clear permitting process. One can hold a license for 7 years, 8 years, and then at that point is required to define 43-101 or JORC resource at that point, and then convert exploration license into a mining license. Very skilled labor force, very cheap labor force. And again, the most important part is that we are operating effectively in the backyard of a continent that is badly starved for resources. Europe needs nickel, Europe needs lithium, Europe needs zinc, Europe needs copper. And explorers such as us in Bosnia, the Balkans, Iberian Peninsula, or Scandinavia are well poised to provide exactly what Europe needs, as opposed to be looking overseas for the supply of those raw critical metals. So very lucky and fortunate that we've had a footprint over there for the last 3 years. Look forward to continuing our relationship on the local and governmental level. And it's good times ahead. Again, the cost of operations are also fairly low. For those who care to know, 1 meter of drilling in Bosnia is about $300 Canadian. And that's up about 20% from the previous year because of the situation in Ukraine. So very low costs of drilling, and that's all inclusive number. So I'm very confident that we'll be able to advance this project on multiple different targets at relatively low cost.
It's a very interesting strategic position to be located so close to a major market and still be able to have such a low-cost drill program. Wondering what comes next for you after these results?
Yes, of course. When it comes to the flagship project, one other target I haven't mentioned so far is called Brezhani. I'm sure those ones who have been following Terra know what I'm talking about. That one is more of a porphyry copper, gold skarn, epithermal, polymetallic epithermal mineralization type of target. So it's really polymodal or multimodal. The more you scratch, the more you find out. So that one, together with Čumavići, is really our key focus when it comes to Vjekoraznik in Bosnia. In Serbia, out of 2 targets or 2 licenses that we have, one being 80 kilometers squared in size, the other one 50, the bigger one, called Ceovište, is the one that we would really, really like to advance as soon as possible. That one features extremely high grades of gold on surface, so up to 64 grams per ton on surface in grab samples. And we have historical evidence that suggests that actually very closely to surface, 20 meters below, we had some formerly dug out adits, exploration tunnels that have intercepted high-grade silver and gold grades. So drilling that one in, let's say, Q2 of 2024 would be something that's on top of my priority list, while obviously making a sort of an inflection point for Vjekoraznik, pushing it really hard this year. So far, we've drilled 2,000 meters per annum in the last 2 years. I would like to quantitatively double that so that we can at least, let's say, as far as Čumavići, push this one step away from a, let's say, preliminary mineral resource next year by the end of 2025.
Sounds like there's a lot of exciting targets in store. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the community at CEO.ca?
Well, I'm very, very happy to be part of the CEO.ca. Our forum is very active. Thank you so much for providing platform for people to comment and obtain, the results and everything else, or discuss the future of the company. We are at a very affordable levels right now. Obviously, I don't think that's going to stay for too long, given our press release stream that's kickstarting again in 2024 and all the exciting things we have plan to do. One thing maybe for the end is I would like to emphasize the fact that Terra operates following the best international standards. We are an exemplary corporate citizen on the local level. We have operated in Bosnia and Serbia now for 3.5 years. These are again strategic jurisdictions that I think those North American or Australian investors who haven't had a chance to be exposed to and have followed, I think, should take a closer look at. One big example of that is the success story of Adriatic Metals PLC, an Australian company that did an amazing job in Bosnia and is about to open a mine. So I think all of those things, together with a proven track record of operational excellence, I think on the local level, ground level, really sets up Terra, and I'll say other companies in the Balkans to be providing those key resources necessary that for Europe and the European markets, and in doing so, bring the value to the shareholders.
Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so very much for your time.